So today we're discussing about malaria. Malaria is a common disease, most especially in tropic Africa, and it's caused by a mosquito. This is a female anopheles mosquito. Malaria occurs most especially in areas where there is waterlogging and there is too much grass where these mosquitoes hide from. See, mosquitoes breathe in areas of waterlogging, in forests, in swamps and lakes. So most of the breathing takes place in those swamp areas. So you find that this is where water is too much. You expect the mosquito rate to be high. So now you expect malaria to be higher in the place. So the level of malaria infection in the lake regions is higher than the level of malaria infection in the highland areas. This is because the mosquitoes are able to breathe in water or in nearby water places. Now, when mosquitoes breathe, of course, they produce the eggs. Those eggs are laid in the waterlogged area. See, the waterlogging occurs when there is too much rainfall. When there is too much rainfall, water accumulates in certain places, and if that water is not addressed, the water does not flow. It simply means that water is going to accumulate and remain there for a long time. Now, what happens is that the mosquitoes are able to breathe in that area. They are able to breathe for a long time in that specific area. So when they breathe, the young ones hatch, and when they hatch, they are able to spread. When they spread, you find that now when the mosquitoes move from where they are breathing from to nearby areas, you find now they are going to spread what we call malaria. So see, these female anopheles always feed in blood. The female anopheles always feed in the blood. But where they get the blood? They get the blood from the human body, most especially in the peripheral areas. And the peripheral areas of human body is where mosquitoes mostly bite. And when they bite, they are able to suck the blood. And when they suck the blood, they are able to transmit the infection to the person. So that infection moves now to that person and multiplies. That is what we call the parasite, the malaria parasite. It's able to enter inside your blood, and when it enters inside your blood, it multiplies rapidly. Now, the rate of multiplication of the parasites in the blood is very high. That because the parasite has got a home in your body, and the home in your body is your blood. Now, that blood is going to get food from the blood, and when it gets food from the blood, you expect multiplication to be very high. And when now the parasite multiplies inside you, in your blood, you find that the level of sucking now that parasite from you is going to be very high. And remember, the mosquitoes, the parasite, I mean the malaria parasite. The malaria parasite multiplies very fast in the body, and they are able to excrete. So the excretion caused by the parasite are the ones that bring what we call health problems in you. And that's why death is so rampant, most especially in sub-Saharan Africa, areas near the lakes, near the swamps, areas where you find water logging, and mostly the areas that you get that there is no proper system of collecting containers. You see, containers also bring a lot of problems now in the population. You find there are a lot of containers, and when rain rains, those containers accumulate the water. And when they accumulate the water, the mosquitoes are able to lay their eggs in that water. And the hatching rate of the mosquito, the hatching rate of the mosquitoes is only 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, mosquitoes are able to hatch from that area, and they are able to multiply. Remember, when mosquitoes multiply in area in bigger number, they are able to cause a very big damage in that area. And when one mosquito is affected, the one mosquito is carrying the parasite of malaria, it is able to spread the parasite to very many people. Remember, it is not only humans that mosquito beat; they beat even the animals. So when the mosquitoes beat the animals, they're able to suck blood from the animals and they are able to survive. And the parasite in them is able to survive for a long period of time. So you see, malaria parasite is only able to appear in human beings, in human beings, but it cannot appear in animals. So if affected mosquito beats the animal, you will not get the malaria in the animal, but the parasite might be there, but an animal cannot be affected of malaria. But when now that affected mosquito beats the human being, this is able to transmit the parasite in the body of the human being, causing discomfort. With blood cells have a specific what we call pH. And when the pH is alternated, it is changed from the body, the cells are not able to function well. So now to make the cells to be able to function well, which means you have first of all to reduce the pH of the body. How do you reduce the pH of the body? You reduce the pH of the body by removing the parasite which is causing the pH of the body to be changing. See, now when you reduce the parasite in the body of a human being, the malaria parasite in the body of the human being, so the pH is able to be brought to a normal stage, what we call to the normal. So when the body comes to the normal, that's when you see that the person is now healthy. So mosquitoes are things, they are very tiny, very tiny organism. You will not even notice when they are landing to you. So when the mosquito is landing to your body, you will not notice it. You only hear it passing, the sound that it can produce, most especially when it is heavy. It can produce a sound. Now that sound produced by that mosquito will make you to recognize that the mosquito is passing by me. See that? Now, if if you are not able to prevent or to prevent sources where these mosquitoes are breathing from, then you will not be able to prevent malaria from increasing. See, malaria will always increase depending on the increase in the number of the mosquitoes in the specific area. So that's why you find most especially in rain seasons. In rain seasons, mosquitoes are very many and the level of malaria infection is high because now the mosquitoes are very many. They are able to access human beings, bite human beings, and transmit the infection to them. That's why you find mosquitoes are very high during rain seasons, and the malaria infection is also very high during rain seasons. So how are we going to prevent this? Prevention, mostly we prevent the malaria increase by one, we have to see that the grasses around, because that is where they hide from. The grasses around, they are cut into minimum level. So you reduce the size of bushes around your compound. Not only in your compound, within your locality. The size of the bushes should be reduced because that's where they hide from. So when they hide from there, they are able to come and meet you at their specific time. You remember all mosquitoes beat at around 8 to 10 in the evening. Most of them, most especially anopheles mosquitoes, those female anopheles mosquitoes, they beat around 8 to 10. So when they 10, So for you as a human being, you have this is the time of their activity. So the time of the activity, you have to make sure that you should be indoors. You keep yourself inside the room, and you should be having mosquito repellents in your body. So you can get a repellent, oil repellent of mosquito. You can also get wear heavy clothes. See, wearing a heavy clothes, a mosquito is not able to beat, to penetrate your blood when you have a heavy cloth. And also you put on gloves. Put on gloves, heavy gloves on your hands, because you remember the mosquito bite where blood is near, where blood is near. So it bites along the peripheral places of the hand, the legs. That's where they bite from. So what happens is that when you put on heavy clothes, the mosquito is not able to beat. It's not able to beat at that time. So yes. So the mosquito is not able to beat at that specific time when you have those heavy clothes in you. So I was talking about the environment, your environment. How are you going to shape up your environment in order to make the mosquito breathing not possible? We talked about reducing the size of the bushes in your compound. Secondly, you talk about removing the containers, which are most especially those ones that collect water. Used up containers. You see, a container is useful when you're carrying it to buy, maybe to when you're bringing something to you. So container is useful at that time. But after you've used what is inside it, you have to dispose it in a right way, in a place where that it cannot access water. Because if it accesses water, it is able to create a room for mosquitoes to breathe in. So that accessibility is what you should fight off. You should fight to cut off the accessibility of mosquito to waterlogged places. Um, Removing waterlogged places, most especially flattening the land. If you know in your areas where water logs, most especially when it rains, you know that water logs in this specific area. There are what we call seasonal swamps, seasonal water points, even in the boreholes. Now these days we have boreholes, especially in rural areas. You have boreholes, and boreholes, there's what we call a soak pit where the water flows in. Most of these boreholes are open. The soak pits are open. So those are areas also mosquitoes can breathe. So such areas you have to make sure that they are covered. The borehole soak pits there, they are covered so that mosquitoes cannot access to breathe in. In so doing that, you're reducing the population of the mosquito. Now, when you reduce the population of the mosquitoes, then it means you are reducing the level of infection, the level of malaria, and the level of death due to malaria. So mosquitoes, they are in different categories. You have the anopheles mosquitoes, we have the Chilex mosquitoes, we have the Aedes mosquitoes. So all those mosquitoes are of different families. And when they are of different families, they are also of different behaviors. Mosquitoes have different behaviors. Some mosquitoes cause yellow fever. They are Chilex mosquitoes. See, mosquitoes, they also have different seasons. They have different seasons when they multiply. They have different seasons when they reach the highest peak of spreading a certain infection. So reducing the level of death due to malaria, we need to fight more on how to reduce the population of the mosquitoes. So if we manage to reduce the population of the mosquitoes, then we are managing to reduce the population, the size of infection and death due to. So you can ask me why is it so common in young children? So malaria is very common in young children because young children, most of them, they're exposed either to bushes, they are not able to detect the movement of malaria of mosquitoes. Mm. For you to detect the movement of mosquito, you should be able to hear the sound of mosquito. So if find a young child is not able, can hear the sound of mosquito but cannot recognize what exactly is happening. So recognition, mostly in young children, you find the mosquitoes are able to access them because they have soft skin and they are warm-blooded. And you see, the mosquitoes don't use their eyes to see the host, but they smell the host. They smell the host. They are smelling their host. When they are smelling their host, they use that carbon sensitivity. So they are sensible to a certain carbon, that carbon that you release, that the heat that you release in the body is what mosquitoes are so sensible of. So they will get that heat. Is that heat that can drive them that there is a host here, there is here. So the mosquito is able to move and beat the what? The heat's host. So mosquitoes, when we look at the prevention measures and the prevention of malaria. So prevention of malaria, mostly we have first of all to deal with the sources. Where does malaria come from? After we have noticed where malaria comes from, then we are able to know how to prevent the malaria. If you have a lot of forests in the area, you expect the level of malaria to be high in your place because the forests are the hiding places for mosquitoes, and when the mosquitoes hide in those places, they are able to transmit the infection. So there are a lot of things that mosquitoes can do, especially in human life. You find they bring discomfort. They bring what we call discomfort. You will not be comfortable for a long period of time. Yeah, you're gonna. Mm. So they bring what we call discomfort. Discomfort in human